Long before the roads were paved and the cities grew tall, there was a village where animals spoke like people, and people listened to the wisdom of the moon. In that village, the elders used to say, "Some things follow you not because they are your enemies, but because they are part of who you are." They were talking about shadows. Shadows walk when we walk. They rest when we rest. They grow long when the sun is low and curl up small at noon. But once, in a village of red earth and tall palm trees, there was a boy who grew tired of his own shadow. He thought it was holding him back. He thought if he could throw it away, he could become someone richer and more important. His name was Kofi. Kofi was not lazy. He helped his mother fetch water, cut firewood, and grind maize. He was quick, with bright eyes and fast feet. But Kofi had a sickness of the heart, envy. Every day he watched the sons of the rich trader ride past the village on their shiny bicycles, their clothes neat, their sandals new. They threw coins to each other and laughed as if the whole road belonged to them. "Why should I walk barefoot while they ride?" Kofi muttered. "Why should I carry firewood while they play? Am I not as clever as they are? Am I not as strong?" The more he watched them, the more he hated the dust on his legs, the holes in his shirt, the empty pockets at his side. One evening, as the sun melted into orange and purple, Kofi walked alone to the edge of the forest, kicking stones. His shadow stretched long beside him, copying every angry step. "You again," Kofi snapped, looking down. "Always following me, always reminding me who I am." Poor Kofi. Small Kofi. Ordinary Kofi. He stamped on his shadow. Of course, it did not complain. "If I could throw you away and become someone else," he said bitterly, "someone rich, someone important, I would do it in a heartbeat." Just then, a cool wind rose from the forest. The leaves trembled. Somewhere, an owl called, though it was not yet night. A whisper seemed to come from the trees. "Careful, boy," the wind said. "The forest listens. And it has merchants you do not wish to meet." Kofi shivered, but desire burned hotter than fear. "Let them come," he said. "Let them show me a way." That night, when darkness fully settled, Kofi saw small lights flickering between the trunks of the trees. Curiosity pulled him closer. He stepped into a clearing that had not been there before. It was a market, but not a market of yams and fish. It was a market of things you could not touch. There were stalls made of mist and smoke. There were merchants with eyes like embers and teeth like moonlight. One called out in a low voice, "Come, trade your bad dreams. Sleep like a baby forever." Another said, "Come, sell your pain. Never feel sorrow again." At the far end stood a tall man wrapped in a faded white cloth, his face half hidden in shadow. Beside him lay a mat piled with gold coins, shining as if the sun had never gone down. The man's eyes were too deep, too dark. "Oh," he said softly, a boy with envy in his chest and dust on his feet. "I have been waiting for you." Kofi stuttered. "You know me?" "I know your kind," the man replied. "You want what others have, but you do not want their struggles." He pointed to the ground beside Kofi. "Your shadow is heavy with your complaints," he said. "Sell it to me, and I will give you enough gold to make your mother dance and your neighbors choke with jealousy." Kofi's heart hammered. My shadow," he stammered. "It's just a shape on the ground, a shape that carries your weight, your fears, your history," the man said quietly. "Without it, you will be light as smoke. Rich. Untouchable." The gold glowed brighter. Kofi imagined his mother in fine clothes, his own feet in leather sandals, the trader's son staring at him with envy for once. "What do I have to do?" Kofi asked. "Step onto this mat," the merchant said. "Say, I trade my shadow for gold. Once I fold it and take it away, there is no turning back, unless your shadow agrees to return." "My shadow has a choice?" Kofi asked, frowning. "Everything with you has a choice," the man answered. Kofi hesitated only a moment. He stepped onto the mat. I trade my shadow for gold, he shouted, before fear could stop him. The air thickened, heavy and sweet, like hot honey. Slowly, Kofi felt a pulling at the soles of his feet, at the back of his legs, at his spine. He looked down. His shadow was peeling itself off the ground like wet cloth. It rose, thin and black, in the shape of a boy. For the first time, it did not move with him. It stood beside him, looking at Kofi with empty, knowing eyes. So, the shadow said in a voice like dry leaves, you truly do not want me. Kofi swallowed. I just want a better life. Very well, the shadow replied. Remember this, whatever life you buy without me will never fully belong to you. It folded itself like cloth and floated into the merchant's hand. At once, Kofi felt strangely light, and strangely cold, even in the warm night. The merchant poured gold coins into a calabash and placed it at Kofi's feet. Here is what you wanted, he said. Spend carefully, if you can. When Kofi turned to thank him, the market was gone. The trees were still. The cricket sang as if nothing had happened. Only the heavy calabash at his feet proved that it had been real. I did it, Kofi whispered. I did it. He lifted the calabash and hurried home, not noticing that under the silver moon, the ground where he walked remained empty. He cast no shadow. The next weeks were like a dream. Kofi paid the landlord and bought his mother a new house with a roof that did not leak. He filled their pots with rice and fish. He bought clothes, strong sandals, even a small radio that crackled with music. His mother laughed and cried at the same time. Kofi, my son, she said, how did you do this? I found work, Kofi lied, avoiding her eyes. Good work. Don't worry, Mama. Our suffering is over. But the village is not blind. The children notice first. See how he walks in the sun, one whispered, but the ground under him is empty. Maybe he is a spirit, another said. Maybe he left his shadow in the graveyard. Soon, the women at the well began to talk. He grew rich too fast, one said. His feet touched the ground, another answered, but he saw. I am not sure. Even the elders watched him with troubled eyes. When a man walks without a shadow, one elder said, something is missing that no money can buy. The first time Kofi tried to join the other youths playing football, they stared and stepped away. Don't stand near me when the sun is high, one boy said. You make my skin crawl. Go and play with your gold, another added. We like our shadows. Kofi laughed loudly, pretending not to care, but inside his chest, a stone began to grow. At night, he could not sleep. Even in the darkest room, he felt exposed, as if nothing stood between him and the world. One day, his mother fell ill. They carried her to the healer. The old healer looked at Kofi for a long time, then shook his head. Your mother, I can treat, he said. Herbs and time will help her. But you, boy, you have done something dangerous. I have done nothing. Kofi protested. I only worked hard. Work alone does not make a shadow vanish, the healer replied. He poured medicine into Kofi's hand. Give this to your mother, he said. Then find whatever you lost, if you still can. The gold no longer felt warm in Kofi's hands. He saw how people stepped aside when he passed. He heard how they lowered their voices when he approached. His mother grew a little better, but her eyes, too, seemed to look right through him. Kofi, she whispered one evening, when you stand by the window, why do I see only the light outside? One evening, unable to bear it anymore, Kofi walked back to the forest. The path seemed longer this time. The trees stood like watching giants. Merchant, Kofi called. Shadow man. I want my shadow back. A breeze answered, carrying the smell of smoke and old coins. The lights flickered again between the trunks. The night market had returned. But this time, the merchants watched him in silence, their eyes knowing. At the far end, the shadow merchant waited. "Back so soon, rich boy?" he asked. "Take your gold," Kofi said desperately. "Take the house. Take everything. I want my shadow back." "Oh," the merchant said softly. "You have learned that some loneliness no feast can fill." He pointed to a dark opening between the roots of an ancient tree. "He is in there," he said. "Your shadow. But he will not come just because you call. He has tasted freedom. You must face him, and accept what you were so eager to escape." Kofi swallowed hard and stepped into the darkness. Inside the hollow tree, the air was cold. From the far end, a voice he knew too well spoke. "Kofi." A shape formed from the darkness, the outline of a boy made of night and memory. "You threw me away for coins," the shadow said. "You hated me because I showed you the truth of your life." "I was foolish," Kofi whispered. "I thought if I changed my life quickly, I would be happy. I blamed you for following me, when it was really myself I could not bear." The shadow stepped closer. "Will you walk barefoot again?" it asked. "Will you carry wood? Draw water? Be poor, while others ride past you laughing?" "If that is the price of being whole," Kofi said, tears in his voice, "then yes. I will walk. I will sweat. I will wait for blessings that grow slowly, not gifts that rot my heart." Silence stretched like a long road. Then, gently, the shadow opened its arms. "Step forward," then, it said. "Not as someone else. As Kofi." He did. The darkness wrapped around his feet, his legs, his chest. Warmth flooded his body. When he stumbled back into the clearing, gasping, the moonlight carved his shape clearly on the ground beside him. He had his shadow again. The calabash of gold in his hands crumbled like dry leaves and blew away. Kofi returned to the village a humbler boy. He still worked hard. He still dreamed of a better life. But now, he greeted his shadow every morning and thanked it for walking with him. People noticed that something had changed, not in his clothes or his house, but in his eyes. When the sun shone, two shapes moved together, the boy and his shadow, side by side. So remember, do not trade who you are for what you think you want. Do not sell your honor, your name, your roots, just to shine for a little while. Some riches make you lighter. Some riches make you empty. But the richest person is the one who can look at their own shadow and feel no shame. If this story has touched you, follow for more African folktales.